up, fams? Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm actually going to start reviewing movies that have been celebrating their anniversaries here. So today we're going to do a 20th anniversary review of X-Men. Coming up right now, newbie guys. Enjoy the show. Alright, quiet on set. Scene 1, take 1. Action. X-Men is directed by Bryan Singer and is also written by David Hayter, who plays Solid Snake. I'm sorry, I'm a Metal Gear fan. And it stars Hugh Jackman, Patrick Stewart, Halle Berry, Anna Paquin, or Paquin, sorry if I butchered her name, and Ian McKellen, just to name a few. This is a large cast, actually. So the story goes is that Magneto, played by Ian McKellen, wants to turn people, or normal people, humans, due to the fact that he's faced so much discrimination and hate from humans throughout many years since he was a child and as an old man. And his old friend Professor X, played by Patrick Stewart, is going to try to stop his ploy with his team of X-Men. While also Logan, played by Hugh Jackman, the Wolverine, basically is trying to find his place in life. Also, since he's basically raising Rogue for a while. While Rogue herself is basically wants to learn how to control her powers, to trying to know why she's actually has these powers. Kind of like a coming of age arc for her. So yeah, a lot of stuff happens, but the main story is that Magneto wants to turn the world into mutants, but honestly that kind of backfires. So, well, they tried on a politician, but it obviously, when the X-Men discover him, it basically backfires, so it basically kills him. So they know that Magneto's plan on turning people humans is a huge lethal mistake. So yeah, so let's just get on with the review. If I have had any negative things to say or any like nitpicks I have to say is that the story is pretty cliche. Even though the movie was released in 2000 before Sam Raimi's Spider-Man came out, it is pretty cliche, but honestly I find it fine. I say that's the only safe thing that they played here, because I feel like the movie took a lot of risks. And let's get on to my positives. So what I love about this movie is that back in the day, even though there's ton of great comic book movies, basically Superman the movie from 1978 with Christopher Reeve, Tim Burton's Batman from 1989 with Michael Keaton, they're awesome. And even Blade, the first ever R-rated, I believe this is the first ever R-rated comic book film from Marvel, starred with Wesley Snipes and basically taking the character series. But all these movies are great, but the one thing that they all have in common is that they have these villains that, although they do have a motivation to be bad guys, they have a good reasoning, you don't really fully sympathize with these. You don't even sympathize with these villains at all. You want them to be defeated by the superheroes just like that. And here, Magneto, aside from the adaptation in the comics, you actually sympathize with them. You actually feel bad for him, because in the beginning of the movie is actually a very heartbreaking scene where Eric, Magneto's true name, Eric's family, he's in Nazi Germany, in Nazi Europe, he's basically, his family gets separated from him, and he discovers his powers when he was destroying or bending that gate. And it's really heartbreaking. Of course, the Nazis knock him out just to, make him stop, and they do stop him, but it's really heartbreaking because right away you see Magneto's backstory. You sympathize with him, and throughout the years, even though he does say, throughout Ian McKellen's performance, you can tell that guy has discovered mostly nothing but hate. Although he has a friend, Professor X, his life has been mostly filled through with hate, and it's really sad to see that. It really is. You actually feel bad for him. Although you do want to see the X-Men stop him at the end, because we all know that's a bad idea with his plan to turn people into mutants. You do get a sense of why he's like that. You understand why his motivations are like that, and you do sympathize with him. You actually feel bad for Magneto. Actually, I didn't want Magneto to die, actually. Also, this movie touches, even the comics again touched upon it, even the TV shows touched upon that, but this movie also has so much political and also just nuanced metaphors of racism, and even I bet a little bit of classism in there. Basically, like humans discriminating mutants. And also, I also love Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. Even, man, bless this guy for freaking still being Wolverine. I mean, of course he retired the character, but who knows who he might come back as Wolverine. So I can't wait for, if he ever does come back as Logan, I can't wait, man. But yeah, Logan in this film, Hugh Jackman, man, I love his introduction. Even though that, aside from his hairstyle a bit, when you first see him introduced in a cage fight, you know that's Wolverine because Hugh Jackman looks like Wolverine. What I love about that and also is that Hugh Jackman, there's a lot of people who are just hated the fact that he was going to be Wolverine, and once the film came out, he proved all those naysayers wrong, and man, he gave an amazing, I say even Oscar-worthy performance. Even and with Anna Paquin as Rogue, I just love their chemistry together. It's like father and daughter. I just love those scenes. Also, Anna Paquin's character, Rogue. Oh, Rogue, I love Rogue. She freaks out when she discovers her powers, which is actually pretty normal. She tries to kiss her boyfriend and basically sucks pretty much a lot of life force out of him. I'm sorry for mentioning the force, but yeah. And she freaks out. She runs away, and then she meets Logan, Wolverine. And then they go off into and then they face off Sabretooth. Well, they encounter Sabretooth, and well, of course, Logan gets knocked down. That's when he finds himself in Professor X's School of Mutants. And yeah, I just love that. Also, Patrick Stewart as Professor X, man. Oof. I love that, man. I also love Cyclops, Jean Grey, of course, Halle Berry as Storm. I also love that scene with that politician where he's basically been pretty mutated. He asks her that question, is like, are you afraid of me? Because he's a mutant, but he's asking her because he was a former human, and he asked her this question. He basically asked her this question, like, are you afraid of me as a human, a mutant? And she's always like, she replies him as always, and that's pretty sad. Even Mystique has a scene where she attacks the politician. She's like, these people like you that I'm just afraid to leave my house or just be me or just express myself. Basically, it's really sad being afraid of who you are. That's really, really freaking sad. But yeah, going back to Wolverine, man, Hugh Jackman does an amazing performance as Wolverine, and man, that guy is Wolverine. He captured the character right from the comics into the big screen and putting his own twist onto it, while making him less aggressive or less, violent and aggressive, because it is a PG-13 movie after all, and just basically still making him a smart ass and saying bub. I love that. And also keep him in Canadian. That's great. Then the action scenes are phenomenal. The fight between Wolverine and Sabretooth, and even the final battle especially the fight with Mystique and Logan Wolverine. It's just amazing. I love it. So I don't want to say I want to give too much away, so let's just end this right here. If I were to give the film a rating, I'll give it a perfect 5 out of 5. It's a masterpiece. Why do I give it a 5 out of 5? Because aside from being an amazing comic book film and also just dealing with basically asking these questions of social political issues, this film, in my opinion, is an important film, not just in comic books, but to cinema in general, because of course Superman did it first with taking a superhero comic book movie seriously, but here it just, X-Men elevates that. It just is right there. That's how it perfected that, and it paved the way with Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. And I feel like X-Men and Spider-Man are the peak of comic book films, because that's how you do comic book films. Because you actually get not just see comic films as comic book films, but you get to see them as films. Way before, in my opinion, Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy. I'm not dissing Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy. I love it, but still, yeah, pretty much Marvel did it first there with X-Men. And I dare to say Spider-Man. But Spider-Man, we'll get into that someday. So yeah, thank you so much, guys, for watching my video. This is Javi from my production signing up, and I hope you guys enjoyed the show.